It was 11:47 p.m. when this happened. I had just finished a late shift at a warehouse outside a small town in Montana. The place was surrounded by miles of forest and empty highways. Usually, I worked the day shift, but that week my manager had asked me to stay late because another employee called in sick. By the time I left, everyone else had already gone home. The parking lot was completely empty. Just me, my car, and the cold wind moving through the trees. I unlocked my car and climbed inside. As soon as I shut the door, the silence became overwhelming. No people, no traffic, nothing, just darkness. I started the engine and pulled onto Highway 16. The drive to my house usually took around 40 minutes. At first, everything felt normal. The radio played quietly. The road stretched ahead under the glow of my headlights. But about 15 minutes into the drive, I noticed something strange. A figure was standing beside the road, completely still. At first I thought, the footsteps stopped beside the driver's window. I kept my eyes forward, refusing to look. Then something tapped the glass. 3 times. Tap, tap, tap. I slowly turned my head. The woman stood inches away. For the first time I could see her face. Her eyes were completely black. Dark water dripped from her skin. Her mouth opened unnaturally wide. Then she smiled. The car began shaking violently. Every window rattled. The headlights exploded. Darkness consumed everything. I squeezed my eyes shut, waiting, praying. The shaking suddenly stopped. Silence returned. After several seconds, I opened my eyes. Morning sunlight filled the car. Birds chirped outside. The forest looked normal. The woman was gone. Confused, I stepped outside. A police officer was standing nearby. He looked shocked. "Are you okay?" I nodded. "What happened?" The officer stared at me. "You tell me." I looked around. Several police cars surrounded the area. Tow trucks. Emergency. I looked at the screen. My car sat outside, but there was someone standing beside it. The woman. She was staring directly into the camera. I spun around. The parking lot was empty. I looked back at the monitor. Still there, standing beside my car. The old man finally spoke. His voice sounded almost like a whisper. "She's been waiting a long time." My heart pounded. "What are you talking about?" The man looked away. "You shouldn't have stopped." I rushed outside. The woman was gone. The parking lot was empty. When I looked back at the store, the building had disappeared. Gone. Completely gone. Only an empty field remained. I couldn't breathe. I jumped into my car and drove. Faster, faster, faster. The fuel light turned on. Then the engine began sputtering. No. The car rolled to a stop. The forest surrounded me once again. I was trapped. The engine died. Silence. Then came the sound. Footsteps. Slow. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Her body was never fully recovered. A sudden crack echoed from the forest behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Then another crack. Closer. Something was moving through the trees, watching me. I ran back to the car and locked the doors. The engine started immediately. I threw the car into drive and sped away. Branches scraped against the windows. The forest seemed endless. No matter how far I drove, the road never ended. Minutes turned into hours. The fuel gauge slowly dropped. My phone remained dead. And then I saw lights ahead, a gas station. Relief flooded through me. I pulled in. The place looked abandoned. One old gas pump. One small building. No other vehicles. No people. Yet the open sign was glowing. I entered the store. A bell rang above the door. An elderly man stood behind the counter. He stared at me with tired eyes. I never turned. I never exited the highway, yet somehow I was somewhere completely different. My headlights illuminated an old wooden sign. Old Creek Road. The sign looked ancient, weathered, rotting, as if nobody had touched it for decades. Then I saw something beneath it. A faded newspaper clipping nailed to the wood. I stepped out of the car. The forest around me was silent. Too silent. I walked closer. The clipping was yellow with age. The headline read, "Local woman found dead after car accident, 1987. Below the headline was a photo. My blood ran cold. It was her, the woman in white, the exact same face, the exact same hair. The article explained that she had died after crashing her car on Old Creek Road during a storm. GPS, and frowned. The screen showed a road I had never heard of, Old Creek Road. That made no sense. I wasn't on Old Creek Road. I was on Highway 16. The operator asked for my location again, but before I could answer, the call disconnected. No signal. I looked up. The road had changed. The highway was gone. I was now driving down a narrow dirt road surrounded by trees. I slammed on the brakes. How? How had I ended up here? I refused to look. I kept my eyes locked on the road. The whisper became louder. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. I gripped the steering wheel so hard, my knuckles turned white. Finally, I gathered enough courage to glance in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. The whisper stopped instantly. I let out a shaky breath. Then I noticed something. There was a handprint on the rear window. From the inside. I lived alone. Nobody had been in my car, yet there it was, a pale handprint pressed against the glass. I felt panic beginning to take over. I grabbed my phone and called 911. The operator answered. I quickly explained everything. The strange woman, the whispers, the handprint. There was a pause. Then the operator said, "Sir, stay calm. What's your current location?" Then completely shut off. Darkness swallowed everything. My heart nearly stopped. I slammed the brakes. The car rolled to a halt. For several seconds, I sat there frozen. Then the lights suddenly came back on. I sighed with relief. But when the bridge lit up again, someone was standing directly in front of my car. The woman. The same woman in white. I gasped. She was only a few feet away, motionless, staring. I couldn't see her face. My hands trembled. I blinked, and she was gone. Just gone. The road ahead was empty. I looked around wildly. Nothing. No sign of anyone. I immediately locked my doors. Something was seriously wrong. I drove off the bridge as quickly as possible. The radio suddenly filled with static. Then a voice emerged. A whisper. Barely audible. "Turn around. Turn around." I froze. The voice repeated. "Turn around." I switched off the radio. The whisper continued, coming from behind me, not from the speakers, from the back seat. Or at least it felt like she was. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe someone was playing a prank. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe there was a reasonable explanation. But then my phone rang. It was my younger brother. I answered using the car speaker. "Hey, what's up?" His voice sounded confused. "Where are you?" "Driving home." There was a pause. Then he said something that made my stomach tighten. "That's weird." "What?" "I just saw your car pass through town 10 minutes ago." I laughed nervously. "No, you didn't." "Yeah, I did." "That's impossible. I'm still 20 miles away." Silence. Then he said, "Okay, maybe it was someone else." The call ended. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. 20 miles away. Yet somehow someone driving a car exactly like mine had supposedly passed through town. I shook my head and focused on the road. A few minutes later, I reached an old bridge. The bridge crossed a river deep in the forest. As I drove onto it, my headlights effed. Then I got closer. It was a person. A woman. She was wearing a white dress. Standing motionless, in the middle of nowhere. I slowed down. The closer I got, the stranger it felt. Her head was tilted downward. Her long black hair covered her face. I looked around. There were no houses, no cars, no lights, nothing. Just endless forest. As my headlights illuminated her, she suddenly raised her head. I couldn't see her face, only darkness beneath her hair. A chill shot through my body. Without stopping, I pressed the accelerator and drove past her. In my rearview mirror, she remained standing there.